All right, I'm going to try to make this video. I think I made one similar to this a while ago when I was showing my L5R decks, when I was making videos of my L5R decks. I haven't made an L5R video in a while, but someone just recently was watching my deck tech videos of my L5R decks and was left quite a few comments. Really appreciated that he said, thanks for taking me down memory lane, basically. He gave me some suggestions. He said, I hope you find some people to play with if you haven't already. And I let him know that I haven't as of yet. And hopefully I will. I'm sure there's people in Chicago who still play L5R. So if any of you see this video, I'm on the northwest side of Chicago, would love to play casual gamer. I'm not was never serious with L5R in that I wasn't very good. We thought we were good because we played all the time with with each other. We were just with our friends. But I played in a constructed tournament and found out that I really didn't know what I was doing. But I loved the starter deck tournament. Starter deck tournaments were so great. Went to Gen Con a few times, played twice, I think, with L5R at the tournaments. And I've got no script in front of me, so I'm just winging it here. This is one of the coolest, if not the coolest, collectible card game ever created. Possibly the most unique. You could say there's a lot of things. There's a wonderful video about why, in that man's opinion, this was the greatest card game ever created. It has over 500,000 views. It's very popular. He is an excellent player. I was a casual gamer. I've always been a casual gamer. I got into it and got serious with it. Like I said, I started with Phoenix, and this was my house, and that's all we were going to play. And I ended up making 15, 16 decks of different clans. I've got like 3 Phoenix decks, though. Got into Shadowlands next, and then I forget what came after that, but I eventually made decks for almost every clan. But I did not like the generic borders, and I slowly lost interest when the game had to switch over to those generic borders. I thought it was really sad that the game had to do that, and all the things that I heard about it. I think the last set I was still playing was when Diamond came out. This one right here. I still have a starter deck from here, and I think this is when I decided I'm done buying L5R cards. I didn't want to do it. I think Diamond was probably a good set. I don't know too much about it. I think it was like a reset they were doing at the time. They got rid of zero cost holdings, which I can't disagree with them for doing that. Apparently, the one of the problems with the game was that you could manipulate stuff with the costs, and you could be too fast for other players who were trying to play, just a regular deck, and you're going to be way too slow. But anyway, there's always going to be criticisms of any card game. Magic got slammed in the beginning, so that's normal. Mistakes are always going to happen when a group of people design a game. It's impossible to not have mistakes. Magic is still making stupid cards to this day, and I shake my head. I stopped playing the game. I got so fed up with the game. And I think Magic is the greatest card game ever created, but I don't like what they've done with it lately. A lot of people don't. But again, I'm getting off track. Legend of the Five Rings. Now you can't see it there. Let me see if I can. I don't think I have. Yes, here was the box. Legend of the Five Rings. This is after the generic borders came out. Is so interesting, and I want to show you why I fell in love with this game, why we fell in love with this game, and really wanted to get great at it. First of all, there are different houses in the game. Magic does 5 colors. White, black, red, blue, green, I think is the order. Wooburg. White, blue, black, red, green. That's right. White, blue, black, red, green. And the game is based on those 5 colors, the elements. Well, this is based on 5 elements too. The elements of air, earth, fire, water, and the void. And here is the ring of the void. There is a ring for those 5 elements. Very cool concept. The ring of air, the ring of earth. It's just a great, great concept. And look at the style of the art. The way the numbers are written, let alone the letters. It's based on, I believe, now remember, I'm casual gamer. I'm going to make mistakes here. People who watch this, you can correct me in the comments. If I have any questions about things that I'm not certain of, you could answer those in the comments. I would appreciate it. And then that way those looking at this video, check the comments and they will help clarify anything that I got wrong or wasn't sure about. But I believe this game was based on Japanese mythology, and the mythical kingdom was called Rokugan. And the really cool thing, not only is this game based on these 5 rings that were very hard to get into play, and I loved that it was a challenge to do it. You don't have to get them into play. It was one of 3 ways to win the game. You win the game through either a military victory, an honor victory, or an enlightenment victory, where you get all 5 rings into play. It was darn near impossible to do in the beginning. Then they came up with alternate ways to win as time went on, and it was very, very interesting to see how things would change. But the other really, really amazing aspect of this game are the houses, the clan houses. So this is the Phoenix clan, and that's why you saw this was a Phoenix deck. Now this deck would have had the generic borders. This is not a generic border, but my deck originally was the Phoenix deck. The unique thing about this also is you have 2 decks. This is your, I'm going to get it right here. No, I might not. Fate deck and your Dynasty deck. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is the Dynasty deck and that's the Fate deck. It doesn't matter. Well, I mean, it does if you're a serious player. But it's been so darn long, I forget what is what anymore. All right, so you've got your 2 decks. The minimum size was 40. So you make a 40-40 deck. You can put more cards in. It doesn't matter, just like most card games. But this whole thing is so cool. Not only the way everything looks, which is just amazing, the way the letters looked beautifully. Everything was done with so much detail. And I'm going to get into that a little bit as we go through this. But your house, this is my house. So it's like this is the Phoenix clan. And these are my 4 provinces. You lose if these provinces get destroyed. That's the military victory. If they destroy these provinces, I lose. If I destroy their provinces, I win. Then we can get into honor next. But you have these 3 numbers here. This represented your, I'm trying to remember the numbers and what they stood for. Your house strength, your province strength. So it takes 5 points, or I think you have to go higher. It's either 5 or it's above 5 to destroy my province. You have to do 5 points of damage or 6. See, I don't remember. Is it equal or over? I'm guessing it was over. So that's your province strength. Some provinces had a lot of strength, 6, 7, 8, 9. There were a lot. 5 was not a lot. Phoenix was not a strong province, so a little easier to destroy. Some provinces were very strong defensively and were hard to take out. Now you would think that would unbalance the game, and of course it did at times. It wasn't perfectly balanced, that's another thing, but they slowly would start to do better jobs of balancing as they progressed and they saw how the game was played. The second number represents how much gold my house generates. Think of this like, this is your land. I'm the leader of this Phoenix tribe, this Phoenix clan here. This is my provinces. My house currently starts out generating 3 gold, which is very, very cool. It's very interesting. This last number is my starting family honor. If you can get your family honor to 40, you're at 6 here, which is 6 is a pretty good starting honor. That's pretty good. If you can get to 40, you will win the game. I think it has to be like if you begin your turn and you have 40 honor. And then the house has abilities. Every house had its own unique abilities. So mine, Phoenix, their clan was all based on magic. Some clans were based on fighting, the military thing. Some were based on firing arrows. Some were based, I forget, there's different things. Dueling. Dueling is one of the coolest aspects of this game. Just amazing stuff. So mine, the Phoenix clan, was all about magic. So you have Shigenja, and then you have samurais. Those are your main two types of personalities that come into the game. So these guys are going to cast spells. If you've played D&D and Oriental Adventures, you know that Shugenja are very powerful. That's the same here. They're powerful. These are my spells. This is my starting hand. I just selected these cards on purpose. So I've got 3 spells in my starting hand, 1 follower and 1 ring, just to show you different cards that can be in the deck. So they can generate, I can only generate 3 gold, but I can generate 5 gold when bringing a spell or a Shigenja into play. So that's really good. 5 gold to bring in my Shigenja is what you want. That's a very good ability. Then you've got this other thing here that deals with Shadowlands, and the Phoenix would end up becoming corrupted by the evil Shadowlands, which changes the game. No card game did stuff like this. None that I know of. I'm sure there may have been one. I'm just not aware of it. Again, anyone want to fill in things in the comments, feel free. So as the game progresses, these provinces are what shows up in your province. I'm going to flip these over, and they're either going to be personalities, events, holdings. There might be other cards I'm not thinking of right right off the top of my head. I think those are the only 3 types of cards in this deck. I could be wrong. I've already set this up for things that I wanted to show you. And I'm not going to go through more than the beginning turn. So what happens is a story starts to form. As you play this game, the story is being written. And when you look at the turn sequence here, you have the straighten phase. Well, that's only when things are bowed. And then in keeping with Japanese mythology, you bow certain things. For instance, does it say it right here? Yes. Bow this Shigenja to bow, if necessary, a target Shigenja. So this is a spell that you cast, and then you bow the Shigenja. This is attached to the Shigenja, and then you can bow one of their Shigenja. This bowing is a very, it's very, what's thematic? Losing my concentration is a little, I'm getting old, folks. Give me a break. All right, so then you have your events phase, and this is where things happen. This is the story that forms. And then you go to your action phase. This is the most interesting turn sequence I've ever seen in a card game. And so in the action phase, you can do any of these things. You can take limited actions. It's similar to like a sorcery in Magic. Similar. You can also take open actions, which is similar to an instant. The other players may do this as well. See what I mean? That's kind of similar to an instant. You can attach ancestors, followers, items, and spells to personalities. The personalities come from here. They are your warriors, your Shugenja. They are the powerful people who are going to fight for you. But you have to recruit them first. And this is them showing up at your provinces. You have 4, and things will show up here, and then you can decide, do you want to recruit them or not? And it's just, that's the story. It's so cool. And then you have this attack phase, which as you can see is kind of involved. We're not going to get into that now, but I'm just holding it there so you can pause the video and read through that and see what you think. Then the dynasty phase. So yeah, this is your dynasty deck. This is, I'm probably wrong. I'm still probably, even when I say it, I'm like, I'm not 100% on that. So this is where you bring into play any face-up dynasty cards you want from your provinces. discard as many of those cards that you don't want to bother with. You're like, I'm not going to bother with that card, and you discard it and you let it go to the discard pile and you end up replacing them. So we're going to go through this right now. And at the end of your turn, you draw a card and then you bow to your opponent. You don't have to bow. Some people do. But it's just like, proper etiquette, which again, it's all thematic. And we really got into this playing casually in my basement. It was just too much fun. We would bow our head, I bow to you. So the game starts. You flip over a province and we get a personality. So what has happened here is this guy has just shown up, but he's at my province. And look at the detail of this card. The first thing that really I was amazed at were these dragons, how they come around the entire card, and then they are like grabbing these two parts. It's just the fact that they took the time to do that. That all went away with the generic borders, and I thought that was really dumb of them to stop this wonderful detail. And then you have these two numbers up here, which represent the personalities force and chi. In Magic, it's power and toughness, how much damage they dish out and how much damage you need to destroy that personality. This is how much damage they dish out. 1, he's not powerful. And the 3 is his chi, which is kind of like your inner strength, where you can use your chi when you duel, but you need a card effect to be able to challenge another personality to a duel. It isn't always necessarily to the death. There can be a duel to the death. There could be a duel where the loser is bowed, because to be bowed could be considered. Well, I wouldn't say it's dishonorable, but this game is all about honor and dishonor, and that's why honor victories are really, really neat. But we thought they were way too hard. Turns out they weren't. I was like, oh, it's not hard to get an honor victory. Okay, we didn't know. We just went with the military, and if we got honor, great. So here is your, let me see if I get this right. This is how much honor, I think, they'll correct me if I'm wrong, this first number, 0, is how much honor you need to be able to recruit this personality. So if my honor had dropped into negative numbers, which it can, he will not join me because I am not honorable enough for him. The flavor of that, just that alone, is so cool. So honor matters. They have honor. You have honor. Then the middle number is the gold that it costs to recruit him. If you want him, you have to pay 5 gold. Now, I only generate 3, but see, I can generate 5 for a Shugenja, and he is a Shugenja. But when I can put personalities from any clan in this deck. All the other clans, I could take any of their personalities and put them in the deck. There is no reason to do that unless the personality is so good that you want him in this deck, despite the fact that he's from another clan. There's a benefit to using personalities from your clan, and that benefit was so significant that you rarely put personalities from other clans in here, but they can. A dragon personality could show up here if he's in the deck, and that would mean I've got a visitor from another one of the clans, and I could recruit him to fight for me. Just again, think about how cool that is. The difference is between, let's say we had a dragon personality and this phoenix personality. The only way I can bring in the dragon personality is by paying the full price. I can pay a discount for a personality aligned to my clan. I can recruit this man for 3 gold. If I pay the full gold, the full 5, I get to add his personal honor to my house honor, and his personal honor is the 3rd number. So he's normal honor. That's what a typical personality has. Some have 1, some have 0. They're not honorable. I think some have negatives. I think the high one is 4. Then I think there were some that even had 5, which is just ridiculous amount of honor. But if you pay the full price, you get to add their personal honor to your house honor. And that's how you end up ultimately winning the game. There are other ways to gain honor too. Military battles, duels can gain you honor. There's all kinds of things that can gain or make you lose honor, which again is the flavor is so rich in this game. It's hard not to fall in love with it. So with the Dragon Clan personality, I have to pay full price. I don't get any honor bonuses. So you are incentivized big time to use Phoenix personalities. The Dragon's going to have to be a really good card for me to want to put him in here. He's going to have an ability like this guy has an ability. So, well, no, he doesn't. he won't join Dragon Clan. His ability is that he has this thing called Tattooed, which has to do with other cards. Some personalities have abilities. I think there's one more coming up here that I'll show you. So at this point, I'm not doing anything until I've gone through all 4 of these. You have to flip over all 4, and you start here one at a time, and you go down the row. If an event comes up, you stop, because the event happens right away. So this is all happening. So I turn that over, I turn this over, and I have a holding. Now these holdings generate gold for you, but you have to pay to bring them in. There are zero-cost holdings in the game, which were used all the time because you don't have to pay for them. They just come in. But the silver mine is keyed to the Phoenix clan. It's perfectly fine to play it in any other clan. It just generates 1 more gold for the Phoenix clan. So the Phoenix clan will always play the silver mine. And the lion had their mine, and the dragon had their mine. Everyone had their own mine. It's very, very cool theme. So now I can bring that in or this. I can't pay for both because my house well, you could say, well, can't you pay 5 for this and only pay can't you generate 5 gold from your house? And then you only pay 3 for him and 2 for him? You would think so. I'm pretty sure I'm right about this, but you can't divide the gold. I think that's one of the rules. You can't use one card's gold generation to pay for 2 different cards. They'll correct me if I'm wrong about that. So I have to pay for this gold that I generate, whether it's 3 or 5, it would obviously be 5, and then I'm going to bring him in. That's it. I can't bring this in. So if I want, I could bring this in this turn and this guy next turn, or this guy this turn and this. I have to decide. It's my choice. But the next card we turn over is going to be an event. Now this happens right away. You stop. You don't turn this over yet until you've resolved the event. This stays the way it is. And this is a really, really good event, especially to start the game. All players may get any one spell from their fate deck to add to their hand, and then you reshuffle. So I'm just going to go grab a fate card. It doesn't matter right now. We'll just take this one. No, that's a ridiculous one in cost. You would not start by getting a very expensive card. You want to get a spell that you can afford. So let's go with the Fires from Within. That one costs 5 gold, and that's a really good spell. Now I think I have to show it. They get 1 spell from their fate deck to add to their hand and then reshuffle. You have to show it, because otherwise how do you know that I went and got a spell? It doesn't say, so I'm just assuming that you had to show that spell. Pretty sure about that. So now this goes into my hand, and you can have up to 8 cards before you have to discard. So now I have 6 in my hand. And then we turn over the last one, and it's another personality, but this guy's expensive. Very expensive. He costs he costs 10. I'm trying to get the light here to see it's blurring with the sleeve. 10 gold's a lot. I can't afford him. Notice he has an ability. Bow him and draw the top card from your fate deck. So this guy can do stuff when he's in play, but I can't afford him. I could bring him in for 8 gold, but I don't generate 8 gold. But if I pay 10, I'll get 2 honor. And I need 5 honor. He will not come. If my honor drops below 5, he will. I can't recruit him until I get at least 5 honor. See, it's this stuff that made us go, this game is so cool, because you feel like you're really into the whole story of what's going on. So at this point, this one already happened, and it immediately goes away. after you've done it, and then you replace. The order matters. The order can matter. That happened right away. Now I'm going to say, well, I'm going to go with the money because we're going to skip our action phase because there's nothing you have nothing in play out here. It's all empty. So there's really nothing you can do. If I had a personality out here, I could add this follower, the apprentice. He's free, and he gives me a +1 chi bonus, which is cool. And there's a little asterisk there. I forget how that all works. It's all explained right there. Or I could pay that 5 gold if I already had a personality in play, and I could attach this. So if he was here, I could just attach the spell, and now he can cast that spell. That's how the game is played. I can also attach the follower to him, and you would just do it like this. So your followers attached to the personality, the spells attached to the personality, and then when you go in, you can go into battle with these guys, and you fight and duels and all kinds of things. And this is just an amazing game. So for me, I want to get the money in, so I'm going to bow my house. You have to bow your house to generate the gold. You bring in your silver mine. The silver mine comes into play bowed. That way you can't use it right away. The personality, if I had brought that in, he just comes in. He doesn't come in bowed. He's ready to go. So now, that's all I can do with my turn. Do I want to keep this guy? No, he costs 10. Well, now I could. See, now I'm generating 8 gold. I'm for a Shigenja, 5 and 3. So I could keep him because I could bring him in next turn. But if I bring in him, I can't bring in him. If I leave him, I might bring in this guy and maybe another card, or I could discard him. I could just put him into the discard bin and replace. I'm going to leave it for now, just to see something and see what happens. And then I replace this. And that was your dynasty phase. That's where you're bringing this stuff into play. And then you draw a card to end your turn. And oh, look, we drew another spell. And then you bow to your opponent, and then they begin their turn. So on the next turn, let's just see what came up, if it matters. Well, yeah, it does, because now I can bring in the personality and another silver mine. That happened because this deck hasn't been shuffled. That's why those two came in the way they did. But that could happen anyway. There are only 3 copies of any non-unique personalities, non-unique holdings. You can only have 3 in the deck. So that would be all of the silver mines for me. But on my next turn, I can either bring in this guy for 8 gold and not get the honor, or I can bring in these 2, full price for him and this, and get 2 more honor, which would bring me up to 8 honor, which is always a good thing. You always want more honor. Or I could pay 3 and 2, leaving me with 3 gold, and I could attach this spell that costs 3, and I wouldn't add the honor. Well, why would you do that? Well, because maybe you don't care about the honor. You have enough. And this way you can also play a spell during your action phase. So you have all these fun decisions to make, and then you decide, do you attack or not? Do you have a card that can challenge them to a duel or not? You choose if you want to do it. And they're doing the same thing. And you go back and forth until someone either loses all 4 of these provinces or someone hits 40 honor. Anyway, that was a bad cough. I had to get some water. So I'm sure I missed a bunch. Hopefully someone will fill in things in the comments. But if anyone is in Chicago and plays this game, I would love to play. Your place or my place. Let's meet somewhere, get to know each other. Don't care if you're a guy or a girl. Don't care about your age. Doesn't matter to me. I'm 63. So if that's okay, if that's not an issue, some people we don't want no old people coming over here playing our game. I'm just messing around. Anyway, would love to find people to play L5R with again. I play Wyvern. Love Wyvern. I used to play Magic. I've played Pokemon. I've played 7th Sea, Magi Nation. I don't have those decks anymore. I got rid of all of them. Gosh, what else? I played a little bit of Harry Potter. I've played maybe 10 different card games. Casually, nothing serious, not hardcore at all. But I wouldn't mind getting into it with somebody who really knows how to play. I played L5R with a guy, and I didn't know at the time. He took 3rd place at Gen Con. He kicked my butt so bad, I was like, holy cow, you're good at this game. And when he told me, yeah, I came in 3rd, I'm like, you what? 3rd. You came in 3rd. Okay, now I understand why you thoroughly wiped the floor with me. My God, that man's deck was insane. But that's the difference between somebody who really knows, like they're playing at the top level, and just a casual player. I went into the game store with my Shadowlands deck, and I just assumed I was going to obliterate him because I obliterated my friends with it. It was unfair to play that deck. My friends didn't want to play with me if I was going to use my Shadowlands deck. They said, no, I don't want to play that anymore. I said, no, we won't do it. I had to stop playing it because it was way too strong. I blew everybody out of the water with it. I went and played against a guy who knew how to play, and he obliterated me. That's the difference. It's amazing how knowledge of the game changes. The better you get at the game, you find the weaknesses. Shadowlands appears so powerful. It seems unfair because you can generate ridiculous amounts of force with them, but there are enough cards in the game that know how to deal with Shadowlands, and the great players know how to beat them. And it wasn't even the top tiered clan. The top tiered clans at the time were Phoenix and Crane, I think, for the most part. I think those were the 2 best. I think Lion was probably the best at military. Again, I'm guessing. So you can get this game on eBay, probably. You can buy starter decks. That's the best way to get into this game. Just buy starter decks. Obviously, if you see this, see the coins, I call this Legends of the 5 Coins. This is what it used to look like, 5 interlocking rings. These are the originals. If you see this on the box, that's the generic border. All the borders will have a white bar across. Very generic looking. The numbers here will be done differently. It's still a cool game. It was still good. We still played it. I have plenty of generic cards in some of my decks because they're really good cards and I wanted to play them. But I didn't like the generic border. So this is how you know. If you go on eBay, this is the generic border. This symbol on the deck is the non-generic border. So it's sad they had to go from this to this. This looks so cool. This looks good. This doesn't look bad, but it's just, how is that rings? I don't see rings. Now I see rings. I see coins. That's why I just kept saying, that's Legend of the 5 Coins. I used to say that all the time when we were playing. And it was disappointing, but if I can remember, I'll put the video. I did it before. I put the video of the guy talking about the game, how it was the greatest game ever created and why. It was so cool to watch it. So cool to watch that video. I'll try to remember to put the link. If I don't, just type in something like that, L5R greatest game. You'll see it. It's got 500,000 views or something like that. It's not hard to find. So, hope you enjoyed this. Now I got to listen to it and see if it's even worth me posting it. But I miss talking to all you guys that I met through my Deck Tech videos and my giveaways. I gave away a lot of my loose cards and had a lot of fun doing that with all of you. So it was nice to hear from somebody recently in the comments who just happened to find my videos on YouTube. I haven't had a comment in quite a while. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to ask questions in the comments and let me know if anyone's around who'd like to play in Chicago. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.